This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Where we want to educate you about our market, empower you to make wise decisions, and help you engage with our expert contributors.
Let's talk about our weekly update here. We've been doing this for the last ever since we've been doing Thursdays at 3, just to give people an idea what's happening. I want to remind everyone once again that this is just data points from single-family homes for the week ending basically last night, so the last 7 days. The first data points are not actually a week's worth, but this is what's currently available. So right now we have 6,241 single-family homes available in our market, which is down 100 from last week. So that number's been fluctuating right around here the whole time, but I'll show you the running totals as we get back to the, we'll take a look at the running totals going back several weeks. In escrow this week, nice number, 740 single-family homes put into escrow in the last 7 days. Love that.
That's a great.
Up 30, almost 30 from last week. Closings, almost 500 closings this week. Again, it's just single-family homes, up significantly from last week. The withdrawals are up a little bit, but these numbers are not that big overall. We're not seeing a lot of huge withdrawals. The median sold price is $320, $867, up about $5,000 from last week. Again, the median sold and the sold price per square foot, these numbers are, when you're only doing a week's worth of sample, they can vary a great deal. But you're going to see the trend on that. It's going to be interesting. And the price per square foot went down a little over $1.60. The median days on market went down too. That's good news also. So we're seeing the activity picked up to a sufficient enough point to start dropping that down a bit. But let me show you the running totals. This is an interesting data. These are really interesting data points. So again, you saw these are the same numbers we just looked at on that chart. But take a look, for instance, the number of homes put into escrow, 740 in the past 7 days. Last week was 711. If we go back, look at this trend going backwards from the 16th of April. Each week picked up pretty dramatically, just about every single week. And so we've seen the activity building up over that time frame. The number of closings this week, nice, 498. It had been hovering in the threes for many weeks here, obviously, and it finally shot up a bit. And then the number of withdrawals we saw, that's been hovering around the same number almost the whole time. And then look at this median sold price, $320, $867. You go back to that first week, somehow it rounded that first week, it was $320. So the median sold price is the same, hasn't moved. I mean, it's fluctuated up and down. You can see the numbers have moved up and down, but at the end of the equation, it's right back where it was. And look at the median price per square foot, 173. Here we're shot down 165, 174, 173, 171, 168, 173, 172 and change. It stayed right around the same. Now, we talk about this activity for the whole market. Again, single-family homes. Each neighborhood is different. But when we look at our overall market, particularly the pricing has remained extraordinarily stable. And so very, very exciting to see that. Have you seen, and you've seen an increase in activity of late, have you not, Rick?
We definitely have. I mean, comparing April to May, we saw about a 45% jump in May, just comparing those 2 months. And
wow.
We're starting to see the increase from May to June as well. And I think we're about maybe 1 month away from being year-to-year comparable. So I'm thinking that and it may happen this month. I mean,
yeah.
We're pushing hard from a sales standpoint, and it seems that there's a lot of activity in the market. So our goal is to get to an even number for June to June, but that may actually happen in July. And that would be a really, really quick rebound from what we've just been through.
You know, for all of the issues that it's created for so many people, I mean, so pervasive, I got to say that I think our real estate market has remained incredibly resilient and strong, and I'm pleased and somewhat surprised. You know, although we were very strong going into this, I got to say this market here is very, very sound right now.
Extremely strong. It was probably the best first quarter in the last 10, 12 years.
Not to bring it down to the thing, but I think we haven't done this in a while. I really want to talk a little bit and remind our listeners and followers about wire fraud, because in the midst of this pandemic, we haven't talked about it at all because the pandemic has been overtaken us. It's basically been everything we've talked about. But I want to talk a little bit about wire fraud because it just scares me. I don't want people to be hurt by this because it's devastating. So can you tell people just let's tell them what they should be doing to prevent it, and then let's talk about what happens when it's committed.
Sure. Well, first off, when we talk about wire fraud, what we're talking about is somebody interjecting themselves into a real estate transaction for the sole purpose of stealing a wire, intercepting a wire by giving false information. And that's probably the quickest definition I can give for it. And there's some safeguards that we always instruct people that they should follow in any situation when they're wiring money, not just in the purchase of a home, but you may wire money to buy a car, you may wire money to relatives, whatever the case may be. The society has gotten very reliant on email, and unfortunately, email has its downfalls, and that is they can be hacked, and people can interject themselves and change verbiage in emails, change the wiring instructions, and they then are wired the money to their account, and it's gone. So a couple of things that we always recommend for safeguarding your transaction in your wire is that use the telephone. I can't express enough how important it is. If somebody sends you wiring instructions and you've been in contact with them, pick up the phone and call them and verbally verify those wiring instructions. Okay. And make sure you're calling the number that you know. Okay. Don't call the number that's in the email that was sent to you. Call the number that you've been communicating with them. Okay. That is extremely important. One of the things that we do here, and I don't go into deep with our protocol, but there are safeguards that we do on each file that when they call in, they have to pretty much prove who they are before we even verify the wiring instructions. Mainly at the close of our transactions, before they send their bulk wire, their big wire. And so, everyone in this day and age of technology has gotten away from the telephone. And this is one of those times when you want to pick it up and you want to make the call. And,
the bad guys make it look real. I mean, they'll go on to, if they've hacked your email and silently lurked in the background, and they've grabbed logos from my company, from your company, from the home build, whoever, they've grabbed all those logos and they built an email that looks just like the one that we sent. The only difference is there's a couple digits changed in an account number, there's a couple of digits changed in a phone number, and there's a couple of things changed in an email address, and before you know it, you believe you're talking to me or the escrow officer or somebody, and you're not. And so that's why you say, make the phone call, make the call, make sure.
That's right. And we're also, some of the other things that we're doing as well is we have, we're deploying a new app that will be coming out. We're betaing it right now, but it is basically used for communication for the wiring instructions, for information that is private information. So that hopefully we can go to the next couple stages with that and then get that rolled out. But you're going to start seeing a lot more of that in the marketplace as far as apps that are peer-to-peer, so that we're cutting out the whole internet.
Please join us again next week as we keep you up to date on everything real estate here in Southern Nevada. Remember, send me any questions or ideas for next week's broadcast. Tune in every Thursday at 3. Also, please let your friends and family know to like our Facebook page and be reminded about our updates at LV Real Estate Radio. We'll catch you next week. Thanks again for joining us.